Yo, what's going on everybody? Welcome back to the channel for the next S13 video. Also ignore the background noise. I got my little heater over here going. It is so cold in here. It's probably the coldest day of the year. I've been working on the car, but that's not gonna stop us because spring is gonna be here before we know it. Let me show you what we're diving into today on the S13 here. So I'm pretty sure I told you guys in the last video, what we have in store is this shifter here. We are going to be rebuilding this shifter. Now the reason we are going to be trying to rebuild this shifter mechanism is because what we are trying to eliminate, if I put it in gear, is this little bit of play. Now I don't know if rebuilding this is going to get rid of this, but regardless, it should make shifting the car feel a lot better. Second gear's a little womped out. Fourth gear's not that great either. Hopefully we can get rid of this slop in here. So what are we using to rebuild the shifter today? Well, I got it laid out on this table. Let me show you. So as you can see on this table, we have some goodies, both from GKTech. GKTech, if you guys ever watch my videos, I just want you to know I love y'all. Your guys' stuff so good, but we're gonna be putting that to the test today because this is a crucial component to the car. So what we have is a new shifter boot. We have a new wave washer, and I will show you guys where that goes. A new snap ring, a new shifter cup, which this is the one I'm most curious to see how this fits, because obviously it's not OEM, but it's from GKTech, so I mean, come on, are we really gonna have an issue? Probably not. And then this is what's supposed to make it feel a lot better. What this is the shifter bushing that goes on the bottom of the shifter, and this is a aluminum solid shifter bushing from GKTech. And then this one here, this is a gasket. Now this little thing cost me $33 plus shipping, so shout out to the shipping costs from USPS, thank you so much. But this is a shifter housing gasket from the boys at JReplace. First thing I purchased from JReplace, I really like what they're doing in the game. They're doing basically OEM replacement parts. So the OEM part for this is 30 bucks plus shipping. This was 15 bucks plus shipping, so looks pretty good. It's just a paper gasket, nothing too major. I think it'll get the job done. And now really quick, I want to address all of you people who are gonna say, well, why aren't you doing a short throw shifter in the car? Because I know that comment is coming. The reason being, number one, I did a bunch of research and it seems like in Japan, all they do is stock shifters. And I'm all about trying to like keep it simple, stupid, the KISS method. So I don't want to put any short shifter in here. The other reason being the stock one, it feels kind of comfortable on the street. I don't want it to be like full race car because I do still like to street the car in the summer. The other reason I'm not going with a short shifter is I've heard stories of them making like a rattling sound. The stock shifter is not going to do that. So we're keeping it street around these parts. Without further ado, let's go ahead. I'll show you guys how to tear apart the factory shifter. I've never done this before, so bear with me. You guys are kind of learning with me here, but we're gonna go ahead and pop this door open and let's start tearing stuff apart. All right guys, so in the car, step one is extremely easy. All you gotta do is take off your factory shift knob. And I just want you guys to know, obviously you're sitting in the comfort of your home watching this. This shift knob is freezing my fingers off at the moment. It is so cold in here, but we're gonna thread that guy off, boom. Shout out Shirts Tucked In. Love your guys' stuff. Love this shift knob. Really good, really good. Once that is off, shift boot is obviously loose. Now with the center, you just have to remove this radio surround, which is not too hard. I always recommend there's tabs, I think 1, 2, 3, and 4, because obviously it's more brittle in here where it's thin. So I personally just like to reach inside here and do these first. And then the rest of it will kind of pop out as you go up. So just be careful with this, guys, because we don't want to break old Nissan plastic. And just like that, gentlemen, when you have this removed, this is also how you take out your radio and your climate control unit, but this is what we are after. So you will see we have 4 screws there. This boot will come off. I got to snip this zip tie. This boot right here we are reusing. Mine looks really good. I made sure to check it before this video. You can, of course, buy this, but not necessary. Saving a little bit of money there. I'm going to set you guys up on this tripod. So hopefully you can kind of see, and we're gonna take this thing apart as best we can and see how it goes. All right, so I got you guys set up. The shifter is of course right here. What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna put the e-brake down for you guys. I blocked the wheel so it shouldn't move. Hopefully that makes it a little bit easier to see, but I'm gonna go ahead and take these screws out with my fancy screwdriver here. I almost feel like this has been replaced before because these are coming out extremely easily. But I'm not gonna complain about that because I'm sure since this is going way too smooth, that there's gonna be something in this project that's gonna make us absolutely hate our lives. So just prepare yourselves for that, gentlemen, because that is definitely coming. Also, be careful not to drop any of these screws. They will go under the carpet if you have carpet. Alrighty, gentlemen, so we now have the shifter exposed. This bushing right here, it is slightly ripped. Camera doesn't really want to focus, but it is a little ripped. And you can see we got our gloves on because it is about to get quite messy in here. But there is your shifter. There's that rip right there. See, she's a little used, so we made a good choice replacing this. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get this little boot off, and there's 6 bolts. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5 and 6 are under the transmission tunnel, which those might kind of suck a little bit. You need a wrench. And then this whole thing should come out, and I will show you guys how it is assembled. All right, I took this boot off actually, and I want to show you guys how it's assembled. So you can see down in there is your shifter cup, the snap ring and all that, but if I put it in gear, you see that play in the cup? So that is what we are trying to eliminate there. So I'm gonna go ahead and struggle with these bolts. I do not know how easy that's gonna be. I will let you guys know. We'll pop this whole thing out and then we will get it rebuilt. All right, you guys will get a real kick out of this. This is some 240SX owner shit right here. Let me show you what I'm talking about. So I don't know what kind of degenerates own these kinds of cars. I'm kind of targeting myself here because I love these things. But I took out 4 bolts. You can see right there, they're on the floor. The 4 bolts, I left them in the same orientation. Yeah, remember how I said there was 6? Yeah, mine only had 4. So I guess we're gonna take it out with 4. So first things first, whoever did the manual swap, why the fuck did we not check that? Second of all, it's winter. I will order 2 bolts and put them in the front, but we're still gonna put it together. Oh, the other thing I forgot to mention is there's no fucking gasket in here either. So, man, you know, maybe this is a good thing we're doing this, guys. We're fixing it. We're doing it the right way. So let's go ahead and pop this thing out. We're gonna rebuild it. We're gonna put a gasket in there. Imagine that. You put gaskets where gaskets go. And I'm gonna order 2 new bolts for the front, but for now, it will be fine. So I got it out. Also, guys, way back in here, let me see if I can get a flashlight for you. Yeah. All right, so I got it out. Bear with me, I'm dual fisting with a flashlight, but you can see back right there, right in the center of the frame, there's a little spring. Make sure you take that out. I recommend a magnet stick, but do not lose that. And also, don't mind my transmission being pink. That is the transmission fluid. It is not Pepto-Bismol. I get it, it doesn't look like traditional gear oil, but the reason you're supposed to have a gasket here is because this fills with gear oil, if you can't tell, and with no gasket, it just pisses all over the tranny. So yeah, we're moving in the right direction. I can't even see the front 2 bolts, so that's pretty neat there. Yep, there's the front one. So there's not a bolt in there.
You thought I really wanted your pussy.
All right, guys, so I got the shifter out. As you can see, it's shifting, it's working. It does need a little bit of a bath, so I'm gonna clean it up, and then we're gonna start taking these snap rings out. My hands are gonna be real greasy, so the camera is probably not gonna move until we have this back together, but I at least can show you guys how this works. We'll see how this goes, gentlemen. All right, so there's your first snap ring. The second snap ring looks like it's hardly even in there. I don't even think I need pliers to take this out, low-key. I think I can pull the second snap ring straight out. Yeah, that second snap ring was not doing anything. And then this whole thing should just come on out. Like that. So basically we're gonna reverse engineer this. We are keeping this top collar right here, this bushing. It's not too bad, but that's gonna be the solid bushing I was talking about. And obviously this is all greased. Make sure when you put it back together, just grease it, be nice to it. So the cup is down here, which is on that wave washer, which it seems like the wave washer isn't really doing much because it's not springy. So this will just slide out, maybe. So there's your wave washer on the bottom. And then this slides right in there. I am going to clean this off, so I will be back. All right, guys, so this is a lot cleaner than it was. Looks pretty good. Won't leak any more fluid after we put the gasket in, so we're gonna go ahead and set that aside. Also, do not use any sort of abrasive stuff inside of here. I wouldn't recommend it. I'm assuming this is a machine surface and it's supposed to be the way it is, so just leave it how it is. So we're gonna set this aside, and then we are going to jump onto the bushing. The first thing that I am gonna do, because I think it'll be the hardest, is the actual solid bushing. Again, grease this, grease your shifter. All right, guys, so that was actually quite easy. I put this on the table, put the bushing on the table, and just put my weight on it, and it popped right in. I got it lubricated, it's on there. There's no play. We're good to go. So let's rebuild the actual housing and then we should be cooking. So the first thing we need is the wave washer. I'm gonna lubricate down in here. I don't know if it's necessary, but it's something that I feel like kind of better safe than sorry sort of deal. The first thing going in is the wave washer. We'll go ahead and just drop that down in there. All right, next thing going in is the actual shifter cup. I am going to lubricate the outside of this too, since there's some movement with it. Seems to fit really nicely. So shout out GKTech for that. Fits super good, and you can kind of tell, I don't know if you can or not, but there is actually some spring action in there now, which is what we want to put pressure on the snap rings. We of course want to put this guy back. So there are some dowels here. It only goes in one way, like that, and then our snap rings will go on top of that assembly. So the first snap ring just holds the plastic collar in, and then the one that holds the whole assembly is the, whatever you call that one. Yeah, I'm gonna snap this together off camera. I will update you guys when it's back together. All right guys, so I got it all back together. Everything's lubed, works really good. There's like no play in it now. So all I gotta do is get the little boot on, zip tie it, and then it's going back in the car. So we got the shifter back in. It's all put together. It feels a lot more solid. I'm gonna put my foot on the clutch so it's a little easier to push, but you will see I got everything bolted down and tightened. First, second, third, fourth, fifth, and reverse. Everything works, got the new boot on. If you put it in gear, we'll go third for example, there is significantly less play, and it does feel a little notchier, just better than it did. So I would say I am very happy with the outcome. The gasket fits perfectly. You can kind of see it down in there. I did clean the surface off. The GKTech shifter rebuild components feel really good. I don't think there'll be any sort of an issue. Would recommend. So I'm going to put the boot cover back on. I do also have some good news. So I do have this S13 leather seat over here. It is missing the headrest, so I'm just kind of keeping it on the side. But the two bolts that I was missing for the front of the shifter housing is actually the same bolt that's used for this seat. I think I got to get to it from under the car, but I'm going to leave those there. So we will replace the two bolts when I change the transmission fluid in the spring. And then it will be 100% good to go. All right, well, there you guys have it. The S13 is one step closer to being my idea of a perfect S13 street / drift car. So shifter feels really good. I have all of the gears. When we take it for the first drive in the spring, I'll have to take it easy so some transmission fluid can get splashed up in there to fully lubricate everything. But it definitely took some slop out of the shifter mechanism. So overall, I'm really stoked. If you guys have any questions on how to change a shifter on your S13, just shoot me a message. This will work for both the KA and the SR transmission. Exactly the same. The only difference is the bell housing, gear sets, shifter, all that is exactly the same thing. With that being said, thank you guys for making it this far in the video. For the next video, I don't really know particularly what I have in store for the car. I do have a couple other smaller projects. The seat bracket, I do want to mess with and get it exactly where I want to sit before I drive it in the spring. And this car does have all of the AC components. However, the AC doesn't work. With that being said, I do know that the KA that is in this car, it's not the original. This was originally a dual cam KA car, but this is a lower mileage motor that's been swapped in. So with that being said, I kind of want to take all the AC components out, refresh everything, clean the compressor up, put everything back in, change the oil so we can convert it to a newer refrigerant type, and then see if we can get AC in this thing because it gets hot here in Indiana. And I mean, the way that this thing's sitting, if I just add AC, would be like the cherry on top. So I might rip all that stuff out. I probably will, because if I take it out, I can still drive the car until I want to put it all back in. So stay tuned for what's next. Again, I don't know exactly what we'll be tackling, but there's always something to take care of on this car. We are not short of small little tedious projects. So thank you guys who made it this far in the video. Let me know if you have any questions, and I'll see y'all in the next one.